So much so that the morning comes.
So much so that they move on. And it is morning time. And we see Kazuto get up, and he is the first one to check his cute little mailbox, which I don't know. As I've seen the first 6 episodes at this point, I don't know if they're really utilizing those, but I would like leave everyone cute little notes and stuff throughout the time there, like
They kind of do it for this one bit and then
yeah,
not again.
yeah. So I don't know, but I would use it. Who knows? Um, but Kazuto gets up and he checks his mailbox. He gets one letter, and we don't know who it's from yet. We don't know who it's from. It cuts to Taeheon, who checks his mailbox, and nothing. He doesn't get anything.
Which is crazy to me. That was bananas.
I do not. I don't understand how Taeheon is not appealing to the other bachelors at all. He's extremely handsome. He's extremely smart. So this is where I kind of start getting lost a little bit as to how how these contestants are.
I'm out.
I don't know if I can do this anymore. I just didn't understand it, and he doesn't have too much of a disappointment, but we do get the admission that he is actually the one who wrote to Kazuto, and the English subtitles get a little cut off in the Japanese version. But in the English voiceover, he writes a very sweet letter. But I don't know if you clocked this. There at the bottom is a no smoking
Yeah.
symbol. And I'm actually really interested. I'm going to have to ask someone who's comfortable with the language. What is that? What does that mean? Like, what is he getting at with Kazuto? Do you know?
No, I just had a funny thought.
Go ahead.
No. In the English voiceover, they give more context of what's in the letter, right?
Yes, it gets cut
What
off.
did they say?
It gets cut off a little bit. I don't have exactly what it says. I didn't write out the entire letter.
Okay.
But in Japanese with the English subtitles, it gets cut off when they start talking. So it starts to in the Japanese or in the original language, it starts to say what the letter says, but then they start talking, so it cuts it off. You don't get to get the entire letter. So I'm sorry. I did not write out the letters. I actually thought I did. But I can get the gist of it. He said that he was actually very impressed by Kazuto and his cooking. And then we cut to Kazuto, and Kazuto thinks either Dai or Shun wrote to him,
right?
Which it's just like where who's on first at this point, to use another sports term.
And he says, I do like that Kazuto said, I appreciate, like, this person wrote a lot to me.
Yeah.
And, like, we can see in the letter, like, especially once we see more of the other ones, that it's pretty likely what Taeheon wrote to Kazuto. And I appreciate that too.
Next up, we have Ryota. He gets up very lanky, and he shuffles to his door, and he opens his mailbox, and unfortunately, he does not have any. He is extremely disappointed. He lankily walks back to his bed and kind of just lays back,
pops down,
disappointed. Gensei checks, and he has a letter, which I was actually really excited for. I was like, oh my gosh, yay! Like, Gensei has a letter. Very deserved. He admits that he wrote to Dai due to how easy it was to hang out with him. So he really enjoyed that kind of playfulness. It just brought them all together, as he said. We move on to our moody prince of the season, who is Shun, and he actually gets one letter from who? Dai. It's from Dai. Dai just comes out and says it right away. He finds Shun to be very attractive, and he wanted to sleep with him last night.
He
Because
said, I don't want to sleep alone tonight. And all the
nope.
commentators are like, my God.
Yeah, they're like, cool it.
Down, boy.
Yeah, down, boy. Let's turn that heat down a little bit, please, and thank you. But I don't know. I just thought that was Dai knows what he wants, and I thought that was very sweet. That was very sweet.
It's kind of becoming the hallmark of his personality a little bit. He's very forthright. He's energetic. He's saying what he wants to you, to the room, to the person, and he's really gung ho all around.
Yeah, and hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Finally, we get to Dai, and he checks, and he received three.
Got him.
1, 2, 3. Ichi-ni-san, right?
Ichi-ni-san.
Letters from everyone, and he got his letters from Gensei, Kazuto, and Ryota. They all thank him for his kind smile and how it warmed up the room. And he was really hoping for one from Shun.
Right.
And we cut away to Shun, where Shun says, "No one here is my type. So I didn't write a letter."
I didn't write one.
Interesting point that you make there, Shun. And back to your point earlier, who did Gensei get a letter from? Well, if you've been keeping score at home, obviously, you may be wondering, how is this possible that he did not write a letter? How is that fair to everyone else? We saw him drop a letter, so he wrote a letter. That is for sure. He was in the cut. He was in the cut of it all, that he did drop a letter. According to Reddit user _fancy_pants from the subreddit His Man Reality Show, which is apparently another show I need to get into because that seemed pretty interesting. They believe there is an error in the translation, stating that he just stated that no one was his type. So the conclusion is that he wrote to Gensei, because everyone else is accounted for except for when they state where all of the letters from. He's the only one. Gensei's letter is the only one that's not accounted for. Sorry if we forgot to mention this, but they're only there a month. Unlike TerraceHouse, where they're there for the entire year, they're only doing this. I almost said experiment, but they're only doing this for a month. This experience for a month, which kind of sucks. Like it's an added pressure on top of that, which I think why Dai will flourish in this show, because his intentions are so direct and he knows what he wants. And
good point.
Everyone else is just kind of like, all right, we're gonna kind of take it slow here, like a little bit. We gotta get warmed up.
Good point.
But yeah, I definitely think Dai will flourish. I hope he flourishes. Kazuto actually made breakfast for everyone. It cuts to him doing a little montage of him quickly making breakfast for everyone. Because Taeheon came downstairs and found a letter from him that says, "Hey, sorry, I had to leave early for the day. And I made breakfast for everyone, so please enjoy it together." And everyone does. Everyone sits down at the table and they all say, "Oh, this, like, the miso soup, I believe, is one thing that they commented on, but everything was very delicious." And I'm like, what else can this man do? Like, I am truly wondering what else he can do.
Me.
I was like, I'm waiting. Me.
I know, but then I debated because I was like, it's so obvious. Like, okay, we got. But yeah, that again, so so heartwarming, so just like baseline, a nice human thing to do for these people that you're engaging with in this house. I thought was so cool.
Like, who even, just so thoughtful. Who even thinks of that? At least you know he'd make breakfast for you in the morning too. Like, thank you, sir, very much.
Yeah.
He leaves. Everyone is still sitting at the table, and they say, "Listen, we have to come up with this name." Unfortunately, they turn to the power of AI to figure out the name. And I'm sitting there saying, can we get some flavor, please? Please get Kazuto back here. He needs to bring those seasonings from the kitchen because it's very upsetting. They come up with, not they, sorry, AI comes up with Brewtiful, which is very cute. I like that.
Very cute.
And then they say BrewtifulU, beautiful you. And I'm like, wow, okay, we love this. I can get down with
BrewtifulU
this.
coffee.
Mm-hmm. And what would you have named it?
Oh gosh. Boy latte.
Not boy latte. I would have to name it raw coffee bean.
Oh. Raw coffee bean. Or like grinder with an E, because they're like grinding coffee, something like that. There could have been a play on that. I don't know if grinder's popular in Japan or not, but I don't know. I like Brewtiful. I think it's cute.
Yeah,
and it's punny. It fits the bill.
Absolutely.
I like raw coffee bean. A little RCB.
No, not RCB.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do like it. I like what they landed on.
Yeah, it's cute. It's sweet. We'll see how they kind of live the brand of BrewtifulU.
Right.
We cut to them then learning how to make coffee. They have to learn how to make coffee. Really, we only have one barista in the group, and now they need to learn how to make coffee. And they divide them into groups, and there's 5 of them, so it's uneven. And Shun actually turns to Dai and says, "How about we be partners?" And and Dai immediately jumps on it. He's like, absolutely.
He's all about it.
And he is very happy that Shun chose him. And who would you have wanted to pick? I mean, obviously we know, but who have, in this situation, in this simulation?
I probably would have picked Taeheon.
Of course. Personally. Since Kazuto is not there.
Correct. I would have picked Taeheon. Question for you, though. Do you think that Shun did that because he wanted to be with Dai, or just because it was the most efficient because they were standing next to each other? Instead of it being like flirtatious, it was just like, okay, us and y'all.
I think it was just because the other 3 were already looking at each other, and Dai immediately turned to him. And so I think it was for pure efficiency. I do not think that Shun Shun has already made it clear that no one there is his type, so I don't see as why he would want Dai to be his partner for any other particular reason. That's my personal opinion on it.
I agree. Okay. It's sweet, and I like what it gave Dai. I like what Dai got to experience, but yeah, I think it was like more of an efficiency thing than like granted, Shun could have been like, okay, us 3 and y'all 2.
Yeah.
But maybe because nobody here is Shun's type, he's like, well, I don't want to interact with more people I don't like, so I'm just gonna pick one person that I'm like next to.
There are a few things that kind of have been said throughout the show. I forgot to mention earlier, but when they're talking about the house that they're staying in, they call it the green room, obviously, and someone makes the side comment, because it's green. And I chuckle very hard at things like that, like people, very Captain Obvious moments.
It's the heat.
It's the heat. So I find that very funny. So when they're making this coffee, I forget who makes the comment. I feel like it's Ryota, but Ryota says the coffee looks strong. I'm not a coffee person. Maybe you can explain this to me if you are a coffee person. How does coffee look strong?
I don't know. Maybe because Ryota is a barista. Maybe like the color of
Oh,
it. Like
okay.
I know blonde roasts have more caffeine or less caffeine. Like the longer you roast it, the darker it gets, and that has an effect on the caffeine. So I think there is something with color
Mm-hmm.
that can be deduced. Like you can deduce the strength of it based on the
Okay,
color of
okay.
it.
I'm not a coffee person whatsoever. So when he said look strong, I thought was a very funny comment to me because how does coffee look strong? But if what you're saying is true, then okay, I will give Ryota a little bit of a break here because I'm pretty sure it was him who also said
Mm.
the green room. They named it the green room because it's green.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Because it's green.
Yes.
um,
I love it. I truly love it. They get straight to the point. They start learning everything. And Dai, in his confessional, his talking head, he says that he likes Shun very much and he is very attracted to him. And we cut to
mhm,
Shun, and Shun says that he's looking for a pure hearted person. So, high expectations coming from Shun from this.
yeah,
Um, but he does seem to be truly looking for someone. So yeah, he said like no one here is my type, but he does not seem to have given up on that idea yet.
right. It's just night one, and lucky for Sean, he will have opportunities to connect with
Mm-hmm.
uh, more folks down the line. But what happens that Dai informs the group that he has to depart, right?
He departs from the group, and it's actually his birthday, so he turns 23 the day after he comes on the show. So he's the same age.
God. But
Uh,
before he leaves,
Oh, before he leaves, he reaches his arm around Shun and gives him a little side hug. And
matane, see
hey,
you
like,
later.
thank you, see you later, have a good night. Which it's like, oh wow, like everyone's like, oh, so we're getting touchy now. We're getting touchy. Okay, 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 cute, cute, cute. And we
Oh,
get the scene of um I believe right after this, this is when everything kind of gets a little blurry for me. But we get the scene of him hanging out with his girlfriends, and
mhm.
he says, there is one person I am really attracted to. All of his girlfriends are like, let's hear it. Let's hear it about all these
Yeah.
businesses. Let's hear it about all these businesses. And they're eating pizza, drinking some wine and beer. And he's like, yeah, there's one guy I'm really attracted to. His name is Shun. He's super handsome. And they're all encouraging him, like, you can get any man you want. There is no reason
Mm-hmm.
why you should be holding back at all.
They're like, if Dai wants someone, he's gonna get him.
Exactly. And that's cute. That's very cute. Like
It's
I
very
love
supportive.
yeah, I love that his friend group is supporting him to go after like the guy that he wants. I think that's very
Mhm.
sweet.
This they also reiterate Dai's sort of gung ho ness, like
Mhm.
he's very forward. This is like his personality. It's day two or like day one technically, and he's already like locked in.
Yeah, he's galvanized for the win. He knows exactly where he's going.
Yeah.
Then we get a very important scene to the episode. It is the beach scene where we see them all join each other, and I'm Tay swooning. Okay, he is so
Oh,
handsome.
so handsome.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe just and they all are kind of commenting on each other's bodies. They say
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, I like a guy with a bit more built or I don't like guys with too much muscle. I believe Shun says that. I believe a few of them
Mhm.
say like, yeah, I like a little bit more muscle on my guy. They take a picture and the picture is like so awful. Like
Yeah.
Shun isn't even looking, which I think is a thing people do in photos, which is awful to me. And poor Ryota does not. It's not a good picture for him.
He's not
Unfortunately,
ready.
no, he was not ready for it. But was it a pleasure to see?
For all of
We
us.
even saw, for everyone. We even saw Kazuto as well, and whew,
Yes. And so this is what I wanted to come back to on Kazuto's personality that I al- alluded to a little bit before. They're all going through and they're like, oh, Shun's like, yeah, Dai's body is great, and like Taehoon's body is really impressive. And I think even Dai's like, oh, Shun has some like muscle definition, but I can tell because I can see his pecs through his shirt. All this. And Kazuto though says, oh, rather than someone really muscular, I think it's Kazuto that says this. I like someone that's like a little bit slimmer, or like I wouldn't mind somebody that has a little bit of a belly.
yeah,
And I think Megumi says, I'm starting to, or is it Chikai? It might be Chikai. I'm starting to not believe Kazuto's nice guy act.
yeah,
And the translation, I don't know if it's the same in the English dub, but the translation word that they use is that he's too innocuous.
yes.
And I paused it because I wanted to be sure, and I go, "Hey Google, what is the definition of innocuous? Not harmful or offensive." Oh,
Google's telling you.
he's doing it right now. Um, and the commentator says that him being so innocuous, like him kind of being like appealing to everyone, kind of keeps everyone at a distance,
Yes.
equal across the board, but it doesn't let anybody get close to him because he's not offering any sort of like insight into his opinion that
Mm-hmm.
would be, he's not offering like a thorough, what's the
Like
word
what
I'm
he
looking for?
wants. Like he's not.
What he wants.
Yeah, he's not offering like a clear
A take.
definition. Yeah, a take. Like we're kind of looking for what exactly are you looking for? I feel like some of them still do not wrap their, and going back to this, I don't think people really wrap their minds that you have a month, and I don't
Right. So you
think
gotta,
some. Yeah, you have to have a clear idea of what exactly you want while you're here on the show. So obviously, I mean, thank you for telling us that. You gave me hope, Kazuto. Thank you very much, because I would be keeping my belly if you were cooking for me for sure. But
speak on that.
you kind of have to take note of who is in the room with you, of these men. So thank you for your general consensus, but we're looking for what you want.
What you want. And I
That
think
clear
I've been guilty
definition.
of that. Right. Like have a take, have an opinion. You
Yes.
may put off some people, but then we get to know you a little bit better, and that's just part of life.
Yeah.
I think I've been guilty of that in the past, like wanting to kind of be like diplomatic or like not too inflammatory,
Yeah.
but then it just kind of makes everyone around me not like me universally because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not showing up as like anything interesting. I've had that like at work, at school, and I think that's something that I've had to learn. So I'm interested in seeing how Kazuto evolves from episode one.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how he continues to grow through this experience too. Um, it would be
In
very.
either case, thank you Netflix for the beach scene of all of these
Thank you,
handsome gentlemen.
thank you, Netflix. We appreciate that very much. Um, so they have a conversation that night, and they ask who here is also who would here would also date a woman, and Dai kind of comes forward, and he definitely says like it just depends on how I am getting along with the person. If I'm getting along with them, whether it be a woman or a man, like I can go really either way. And Ryota says very similar, the same thing.
The thing that sticks out to me, Dai says like, oh, with men, it's like I find them really attractive and then emotions come. But when he's dated women, it starts with emotions and then develops, and then the physical develops after that. What did you think of that comment?
I thought that was that was really mature of him. I think to kind of see like how he emotionally reacts to men and women. So I was like, oh wow, like I don't think I could have put into word that his age exactly how I feel about men. Like it's just like, well, I just like men. Like I like penis, like dick, and all of that stuff. Like
Fucking balls.
and you
And
did it
did
at
at
my
my birthday.
and you did it at my birthday. We get a ding. I believe at this point we get a ding, and they say, "Hey, you're going to be meeting a new member of your household tonight. So get up, get ready, let's go, girls. Shania Twain, and let's run this city." And they go out to a gay club. I forgot the name of the gay club. Did you happen to know it?
Camelot, I think was
I
it, or it was something. It was something like medieval, like that.
yeah, I think you're right. And they go in there,
Camelot.
and they're having a good old time. They're kind of
Uh-huh.
drinking it up, but they're not just like having like mixed drinks. It looks like they're having specifically like champagne.
Yeah, we get a
Like
little product shot of like Moe or something.
we
Like, okay.
yeah, we it's just like, oh, okay, I see what y'all are doing here. I think the club is also sponsored by Moe. So I was like, oh, okay, I see it. But everyone is getting, not everyone, I'm sorry. But the drinking is bringing out the friskiness of it all. And
Yeah,
Dai is starting to show his true colors here a little bit.
yeah. Guys having fun.
Yeah, and he is definitely starting to show his excited personality.
Hmm.
When you go out to the club, are you one of those people that get really excited? Like, let's have a good time dancing. You're on the dance floor. Are you just kind of more laid back? Like, yeah, thank you.
You know, I really don't even go to the clubs.
Oh, okay.
I've really, never really been to a club. I'm really kind of at home with my Bible, um, every weekend.
Yeah.
I
You're on
wouldn't
your
even
knees, all
know.
right.
I wouldn't even know like what clubs to go to because I've never been to a club. No, yeah, I'm kind of out of the club. I'm shaking a little something. I'm throwing a little
Okay,
something.
okay, okay.
There are numerous videos
Oh,
from throughout the years of me going a little hard in the paint with
we love
it,
that.
and I love playing games too. At like when I'm with my group of friends. So
Games in the club, like what? What do you play?
Twister,
Twister, please.
I bust out a Monopoly board. No, like not necessarily out at the club, but like if I'm at a friend's house and we're drinking, I have
Oh,
these like
okay.
little like truth or drink or like fear pong or um like who in the room or
Okay,
something
okay,
like that.
okay. I see
So
what you're saying.
yeah,
I
I'm a
get
good
it.
time gal.
I
what
love
about what about you?
I can be more reserved at clubs sometimes. It kind of depends on the music ultimately. If
Yeah.
it's not if it's not music I can shake my booty to, I'm not really interested to it. Or if it's not
Yeah.
like, our divas, our pop star divas, like I'm not super into the like the vibe is just like, all right, I'm just gonna chill and whatever
Hmm.
kind of people watch. I love to people watch in gay bars. Like just I love to see the drama happening.
Are you a all right, we're gonna start getting ready at 11 and hit the club at midnight? Or are you like, okay, happy hours at 4, I'm in bed
Mm.
by 8:30?
I definitely I'm a pre-gamer at home. Like I'm all about let's get a few shots in at home, let's start feeling good, and then we can head out to the club for sure. Yeah.
Correct.
But I
Correct.
don't want you spending too much money out there in those
Yeah.
streets. That's just how I feel about it. They played
Agreed.
some game. I'm not really sure. I didn't understand the point of the game. I don't think really any of them understood the point of the game. I think Dai was the one just pushing to get out of someone who do you like.
Yeah.
And he confesses that he likes Shun. And
Shun.
to Shun, which is huge at this point. Like he really like goes for it. And Shun sits back and he's happy about it. He seems to be
Shun's
like,
feeling like that girl.
oh wow, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Like, I mean, come on. He did. He just said he didn't find anyone there. He wasn't attracted to anyone. And then now he's like, oh, someone likes me. I think that's where I start to see the twisted Shun start, because he's like, exactly. Like, I get to do whatever I want now to this. So this quickly ends, and
we have one other confession though. Gensei has a confession. Gensei and Shun are the two losers of this like rock paper scissors elimination style round, and
is that what they play?
Yeah, and it's like they basically like they all go at once. This is common at least in Korea, and like you'll all go in a group, and whoever like wins gets to sit out. So they whittle it down, and it's Shun and Jinsei have to confess who they like, and they both choose to show Shun who they like. So Dai takes the initiative and is like, I like Shun, and shows it to Shun. But Jinsei also makes a confession, and I don't remember who Gensei said
I don't feel like
he liked.
I don't think he confessed. I think they just kind of glossed over it.
No, he also showed. He wrote something on his phone too and showed it to Shun. But I don't. Maybe they just didn't say.
I don't feel like they said. They really like to leave out my poor little Gensei out of everything.
I know,
and it's not. It's not fun.
Not feeling it. But he also makes a confession, and Shun knows both of their confessions. Oh, Jinsei says, I'm not sure of my feelings yet, but I just want to see where it goes.
Look at this photographic memory, y'all. I could never.
Maybe with Kazuto? I don't remember. But he says, like, I want to see where things go with, and he says a name.
I love that.
But then,
I
anyway.
need to know, though. So they're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, the go-go dancers come out, and they are getting down, and everyone's kind of whispering to each other, is our new roommate a go-go dancer? And Dai recognizes one of the go-go dancers, and they actually all kind of comment on the same go-go dancer, like, look at his muscles, wow, that's really impressive, like, and they watch the entire performance, and then the queens retire to the gold bar.
In the Interior Illusions Lounge.
In the Interior's Illusions Lounge, and they continue their conversation, like, who's it going to be? I believe Dai does admit at that point he does recognize Yusek. And who were to walk in the door other than Yusek?
And they're all like, we thought it could not be him because he's like too famous. And then the host, Durian's like, he's like one of the most famous go-go boys in Japan.
Yeah. Kazuto, which this comment surprised me. Kazuto even says, I have only seen him on ads and like on my phone. I've never seen him. No, he's actually, I think Kazuto has actually seen him live, because I've only seen him on stage and on ads. So like to be like this close to him is like wild. But Kazuto does get a little panicked about this, because he really thinks this is going to change the dynamic of the group.
Yeah, because Usak is hot.
Oh, absolutely.
Hottie.
He walked in, and I'm sorry, Taeheon and Kazuto, but they both went down a notch. And I'm sorry, you're saying it. I say Yusek. How are you saying it? Yusat?
I was saying Usak, but I think
Usak.
I'm not sure though either way.
Okay.
But Usak walks in and he's gorgeous. Interesting to note, they don't comment on this, but just for us, he's also now the newest eldest castmate. He's 36. So
Yeah.
he's a couple years older than Taeheon and Gensei, who are 34.
Yep. And immediately, Dai gets horny.
Horny.
They get so horny. Dai gets so horny and is commenting on his muscles. And who just happens to hear all of this? I mean, obviously, Shun.
The camera pans over to Shun. And Shun's sitting there like...
Shun immediately went from happy to just checking out. Just checks out.
Feeling it.
They do a little... Go ahead.
Go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, they do a little cheers, and they show Shun again, and Shun's just, like, out of it.
Not having it.
No.
Because they cut to Shun right after Dai said, I was hoping it was going to be you. And then the camera, about Usak, and immediately the camera goes, and all of the judges are like, and, like, looking at Shun, like...
Yep. And this is where
his mood swing.
Yeah, this is where we see the different side of Shun. Where I mean, it's not this isn't the different side of Shun. We've been seeing this, but we saw him happy, like, oh wow, like someone is interested in me. But then Dai is he's drunk and horny that he he's just in awe that he's seen Yusek, and he just comments on what a beautiful man that he is, and that man is truly beautiful, to say the least. Like, that is a very handsome man. Very, very handsome man. And I believe he's tall, too, right?
He is tall. I don't think we get, like, those kind of stats, but when they're all lined up, he's one on the taller end. He's not as tall as Ryota, but closer to, like, his side in the spectrum.
Yeah. And that's where the episode comes to a close. That is our cliffhanger for this series, this episode 1. How did you feel at the end of the first episode?
They really packed a lot into like a 45-minute episode. I mean, we got club, beach, house, coffee truck, meeting room, seafood market, another club. We didn't get a second one. But they really like packed things into the episode. But I do coming to the end of it, I really liked the variety of the guys. We have 36 to 22 years of age. We have go-go dancers, designers, chef. Models, student, chef. So I really appreciate that, and I like that we have a diversity in personalities that we're seeing from the jump. I wonder if it was intentional to have Usak and Kazuto join kind of like later, and what that maybe does for the dynamic, or if it was just like a scheduling thing because they have pretty demanding jobs and they can only, be away for certain amounts of time. But I'm liking it. Are you? I like the age. I like the occupations, different personalities, and it's all kind of coming together. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I thought they definitely gagged us a little bit with the introduction of Kazuto and Yusek. I thought Yusek definitely is a great addition, and it made people think a little bit more about how they should be kind of a bit more proactive. Obviously, there is this air of how a go-go is, I feel like Kazuto straight up says it like this is definitely more competition, which I mean, yeah, Yusek is a very handsome man, but um, I don't know. I don't think you can immediately start cutting yourselves out or anything just because a handsome man gets thrown into a mix. You all have your own interest, and Yusek could not be in your boxes whatsoever. So I think that was a little bit jumpy, but I feel good. This is a great group. We have a variety of personalities coming from a variety of different places and walks of life, and it can only get better from here.
Episode 1 ends. This is all you get. You don't get to see another episode. Ruin, who do you pick to go on a second date with?
I would. Based on episode 1, we just met Yusek. We did not see much of him. He did seem like a very sweet man, but I would probably want to go on a second date with Kazuto. He just seems to have a really good head on his shoulder, and just kind of know what he wants in the world. Honestly, when he said like I work from noon to midnight, I kind of sat there for a second. I was like, that's perfect.
You were on stream, and you were like, I can make that work.
I can make that work. I have a bit more time to do things that I enjoy. So yeah, no, that's literally how my reaction was. I was like, I can make that work. Like, so, but no, Kazuto, I think most definitely would be the one I would go on a second date with. Who are you going on a second date with?
Being after episode 1, I'm gonna pick Taeheon. We don't see like a ton of him kind of towards the end of the episode, but those those damn pajamas, and I speak Korean, so like we can like yap away, and his just his like we're yappers, and his sort of leadership quality and level-headedness, I think, and how handsome he is, I think really appealed to me. He stands out to me like in this group in terms of like what sort of things I like. He's ticking all me boxes.
Is that your accent? Of course it is, babes.
Of course it is, babes. Where are you from? From your drinks, mate.
I love it so much. Man, what an episode. I did not expect them to pack so much into that 45 minutes, but I'm surely happy that they did. I'm surely happy they did. We got a meaty show, and no pun intended there. But we got a meaty show, that's for sure. Wow. I'm looking forward to the future episodes, of course.
Me too. Well done.
And how this will end. So yeah, Drew, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been like an absolute of course. This has been an absolute pleasure to do this with you. I'm really happy that we got to do something like this together. We've I almost said we've been like crossing ships in the shipyard at night or whatever. Not really, but no, I'm just really happy that we get to do this. So thank you for joining me. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. What a pleasure. We just got to queen out about some handsome boys for a little while.
Oh my gosh, I mean, who doesn't want to
put on my good shirt?
Hey, better than me in a little t-shirt or whatever. I was like, I should wear no, I'm not going to wear my work polo. And anyway, Drew, please tell people where they can find you if you feel comfortable doing so.
Sure. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at DruwuPlays, DruwuPlays. TikTok at LunaComaStan.
Oh, I forgot about your TikTok name.
Not too active right now, but every once in a while I put out a banger and we just kind of see what happens. But Thank you so much, Ruin, for having me. I'm also in RuinCrown's stream. I like to pop in and cause a little mischief, clip,
Oh,
do a
you
lot of
are a
clipping, try to get some good ones for you.
you get the best ones. I still think of the one that you clipped of when I said there was a collective we, and I forgot your title for it, but it's like French people win. There was a collective we. That's
Oh my god.
possibly one of my favorite clips. That-
I'll have to go back and watch it.
it's
Yeah, something
good.
like French people when they're saying yes as a group. Something collective we.
We as a collective, we just that's possibly one of my favorite ones. Gay is obviously a really good
Okay.
one. Whore, I think that you clipped that one. Yeah, no, just
Yes, you'll see
absolute.
me there.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as me, if you don't know who I am, thank you so much for joining us today on Title Pending, the unofficial, official recap show of Netflix's The Boyfriend. I'm your host, Ruin Crown. You can find me really anywhere on the internet at Ruin Crown, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, Twitch primarily. I am a Twitch streamer. So if you want to feel free to stop by, you're more than welcome to. And Netflix, if you're seeing this, please send your girl a little something. I love your work. I love your work. Please feel free to.
She does
Please,
good work over there. She does good work over there.
please feel free to send me a little something. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you again to Drew. It's been so lovely. Until next time, Diva.
Arigato
Bye.
gozaimasu.
Much love, everyone. Mwah. Hello, everyone. It's Ruin from the future. Thank you so much for your patience while I worked on part 2 of this episode. I hope you are excited for the other episodes. I am working hard in the editing room to get them out for you. So please make sure that you subscribe, comment, like, share this video to other people who may be watching The Boyfriend. It helps the channel out so much when you do that. Thank you again for your patience, and I hope you're looking forward to more episodes. I will see you soon. Bye!